It exists in our hearts and in our dreams. This legend of Bathurst. It's who we are, what stirs our spirit, this great race. 50 years of touring cars at the spiritual home of motorsport, this hothouse of emotions, drama, intrigue, anguish, joy, ambition that fuels our world of speed and power, that's reflected in every relic, every icon, every soul, in the face of every pilgrim that comes to the mountain. Drivers and machines pushed to the limit in pursuit of greatness, striving to make their mark in this odyssey that began with Bob Jane and the old fox, Harry Firth, back in 1963. Their spirit endures. The heroes are embraced by millions. Their deeds are history. Each has come in search of the Holy Grail. And one by one, they've created the legend of Bathurst. It was written that Alan Moffat could be described with 3 words: dedicated, dedicated, and dedicated. A smooth and fearless driver, Canadian-born Moffat was a 4-time winner of Bathurst, an idol to his fans. He gave Ford its most famous victory.
Side by side.
With his craggy countenance, Dick Johnson became a folk hero. One of Bathurst's great stories is how, after this bizarre accident, the Australian public rallied to help him rebuild his true blue Falcon. Dick returned the following year, and with the whole nation cheering him on, he claimed the sweetest victory of all. No man has challenged the mountain as many times as Jim Richards. In 35 attempts, he climbed to the pinnacle 7 times. He was much admired by drivers and fans. But when partisan supporters booed him after this rain-soaked victory, Jim let them know.
You're a pack of assholes.
Larry Perkins ventured to Europe where he drove Formula One. But this Dinka Mozzie was truly at home on Mount Panorama. Larry triumphed on 6 memorable occasions and became a trusted mentor to the next generation of drivers. One of the all-time greats of Bathurst. Few men have impacted on their profession as forcefully as Mark Scaife. He was Holden's man. He was the dominator. Over a span of 20 years, he won Bathurst 6 times. He was innovative, tenacious, and always brutally uncompromising.
Mark Scaife will go back-to-back at Bathurst.
Who will ever forget Greg Murphy's Lap of the Gods? His celebration is enshrined in Bathurst folklore. New Zealand-born Murphy was just 24 when he and 22-year-old Craig Lowndes became the youngest drivers ever to win Australia's most grueling race. In terms of success and popularity, Craig Lowndes has few peers. But in the narrative of this fabled race, he is proud to be called the Apprentice. In 2006, when the front row of the starting grid was left empty as a mark of respect,
Lowndes has done it on the day he farewelled his friend.
Lowndes had to fight back tears to hold aloft the inaugural Peter Brock Trophy. The Apprentice was paying homage to his master. Peter Geoffrey Brock was to Bathurst what King Wally Lewis was to Lang Park or Don Bradman to the MCG. Brock's tragic death left a seat that will never be filled. Peter Perfect carved his legend into Mount Panorama. Each of his record 9 victories an enduring memory.
Peter Brock, winner of the great race.
That famous duel with Moffat. The year he broke the lap record on his final laps.
Peter Brock comes across to take the checkered flag.
Brock was the ultimate crowd pleaser.
Thanks for all your support out there too. I love the way you're cheering me on.
There is one king. His throne is empty. His spirit is on the mountain. The Bathurst legend is based in 50 years of history, of muscle cars and big bangers and tribal loyalties. We all wear our hearts on our sleeves. What began as a showcase for manufacturers has become a battleground for the brave. These warriors who exist in a world beyond ours, where man and machine are one, where skill, precision and instinct are everything, where the only goal is perfection. Ahead lies 1,000 kilometers in which these men will drive their cars to the limit and beyond. Because this is Australia's great race. This is the legend of Bathurst.
Good evening, everybody. It's Friday. It's live, it's Bathurst. It's Friday night live at Bathurst. And if that opener did not stir your motor racing soul, nothing will. That was extraordinary. What a way to start a very big weekend. We're celebrating 50 years of the great race here at Mount Panorama. And as you can see, we're live on 7 Mate for the next 2 hours. We've got a mega show lined up for you. We've got a tremendous audience here, officials and invited guests, and we're being seen all around the circuit on the big screens. Welcome, folks. We're going to review a heap of activity from yesterday, from today where we've had qualifying. We're going to preview a very big weekend because tomorrow we've got the shootout. Sunday, 161 laps of the super cheap auto Bathurst 1000. There's a lot to cover off. We're going to chat with some legends and today's heroes. We've got both the Marks on the loose, Mark Beretta and Mark Larkham. Some of the teams are setting up at the moment. Those that have qualified from 11 to 29 are already prepping for the race. They're doing engines and gearboxes, but of course for some it's all about the shootout, which comes up tomorrow afternoon. There's so much going on, plus we've got a very special treat just over to my left, an old mate Lee Kernaghan setting up over there at the moment. He's going to perform for us later on this evening, and that'll be awesome. Time now to welcome an old mate, 6-time Bathurst 1000 winner, and congratulations on that wonderful achievement. Scafey, you join us in the commentary box this weekend for the first time. Welcome to Friday Night Live at Bathurst.
Thanks, Crumpo. I mean, it's fantastic. The whole atmosphere is just extraordinary, isn't it? When I arrived on Wednesday, it felt like Sunday. And, you know, in the opener that you just made reference to, the sorts of legendary drives and the sorts of races we've seen over the years is just extraordinary. And this weekend will be just like that.
How good was qualifying today? You and I have been talking this up for a while because we love it. 40 minutes of very intense action. I don't think anybody in this business winds themselves up to such a frenzy as they do for this, because getting a ticket to the shootout's very big.
Well, it certainly is. And one of the things that really happened that I was, surprised by at the start was Garth Tander made the big mistake at turn 2, fired in the fence. That was right at the start of the session. And then as time went by, it was actually quite weird how, number one, they got the car back to going all right. Garth did a great job to get into the top 10, but there were some really extraordinary performances. The first one was Fabian Coulthard. To run second, that was a great effort.
Right.
Less than 1/10 of a second behind Whincup, and Whincup's performance was as good as you'd see.
Lots of celebrations going on all around the precinct at the moment, including in the Chairman's Lounge with Mark Beretta.
Yeah, Neil, this really is some gathering tonight. All of the famous faces from all over the years, all of those races gathered in the one room, including the defending champions, Nick Percat and Garth Tander. Guys, great to be in company like this, GT.
Certainly. I mean, got all the Bathurst greats here. So it's fantastic for us to be part of this this evening, and it's great to come back as defending champions to this race in particular, 50th anniversary racing up here. The crowd this weekend is out of control. Never seen it this big before. So it's a fantastic atmosphere, and looking forward to getting into it on Sunday.
Nick, is it different coming back to the mountain as defending champions?
Oh, it is. You get to go to functions like this, hang out with legends like Alan Moffat, and it's I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be doing anything like this, and it's awesome, and I'm soaking it all in, and I want to be part of it again next year. So hey.
No pressure, GT.
Yeah, right.
Well, you mentioned him, the great Alan Moffat, 4-time winner here, is with us. Alan, what a gathering it's been this year. It does feel very special, doesn't it?
Well, I've never seen this many people on a Friday. The whole pit straight grandstands were full. Everybody's excited about the 50th anniversary, and we should get excited about Bathurst. It's the most iconic circuit in Australia, one of the top 5 in the world, and there are lots of things we could be doing with more money from influential people in Canberra, and the continued support that Channel 7 have given this race for, it seems, a century, not just 50 years. And I'm just pleased to be here, not having to worry about driving a car, gentlemen. It's a great feeling. Wake up. What's the biggest worry? Am I going to get a hot coffee?
These boys have got a bit more on their plate, Alan. Any advice for them this weekend?
Yes, don't worry about where you qualify. I know you're going to qualify well, and just make sure that the brake pedal is up before you start the race.
Good tip, Alan. Garth, you're ready to go for tomorrow's shootout?
Yeah, I think so. We've got to obviously do a bit of panel work to fix the car after qualifying today. But, yeah, we're going to make a few small changes for practice in the morning and trial that and do a shootout simulation at the end of practice. But as Alan said, it doesn't really matter where you qualify. We won the race from 9th last year, and, you know, it's a long old day Sunday. So you just got to make sure you got a good solid car under you that's comfortable to drive for the majority of the day, and be there at about lunchtime, and then turn up the wick and see what happens.
Well, we know you guys know what you're doing. All the very best for Sunday. Alan, great to see you. We'll let you go back and enjoy the night. It is a fantastic gathering here. We'll have more of the legends to chat with as the night goes on.
Well, I've been skulking around down the back of the paddock here trying to find Russell Ingall's Winnebago, because there's Winnebagos everywhere. A couple of giveaways when you're looking for Russell Ingall. Free car. Good-looking GDS. If you find a horn-looking GDS, good chance it's Russell's. And I just noticed just now, look at this, a little bit of sticky tape over the parking sensor. That's probably so he can barge his way through the supermarket car park. Now, Russell breeds kids pretty well, like myself, and this is the giveaway. Look at this on the ground here. Look, chalk. Kids have been out here playing hopscotch, all out here. So, sure as anything, have a look up in there. There he is. There's Dad. And what's happened with Russell, he's become sort of very much the family man, and that has a big impact on your braking distances, and hence your qualifying. But we'll talk about that in a minute, mate. Hey, wouldn't give to be a race driver in the modern era, mate. This is pretty cosy.
Oh, mate, we're camping though. We're one of the people. We're out camping and roughing it. Yeah, it's not a bad way to do it, is it?
Got to ask you, mate, I just spotted the sticky tape over the parking sensors on the front of your car out there. What's that all about?
I noticed not Rego either, so it's a typical scam deal, so no Rego.
Now, is that the car that's being given away as part of this promotion?
Absolutely, yeah, it is. Nice, a super cheap. They give me a car to drive around for the year, and they say, oh, and we're going to give it away, so sorry about that.
So I was going to say, folks, I wouldn't worry about that competition if he's been driving it. Now, mate, we've got to have a quick chat about the... I know you're disappointed, mate, but this isn't... Alan Moffat just said it. This isn't about qualifying this event, but you can't help be disappointed. What are you, 26?
No, 25th, we're gutted, absolutely gutted, especially what we've come off of a couple of top 5 finish results, been qualifying really well, and mate, we've done some silly things and we shouldn't have, and we're paying for it now, but mate, 95... We came from last to first, and we're not far off last at the moment. So, mate, like you said, anything can happen in this race, and we're not going to let it get us down. It's just I might have to get a little bit more aggro earlier than
that's what we want to see, mate. I seriously, on your recent form, I reckon you do well. Just ask the kids, Dad on Sunday, thumbs down, thumbs up. Thumbs up. There you go. There's the best indicator of all.
Nice work, Larko. How's Russell down there with his scammy car and his scammy motorhome? Russell the scammer. He ended up being 25th today, but he's won this race on 2 occasions, Scafey, in 95 and 97. He'll be a threat no matter what.
Oh, look, he's a great racer, isn't he? And as Moffat said, you know, the qualifying is not unbelievably important. Let's have a look at the highlights from qualifying today, because when they rolled out, the conditions were a lot different. Very, very hot. Very windy cross breeze, and this was the thing I referred to before. Tander's mistake into turn 2, off he goes and into the fence. Now, did a great job to be able to back it out. Have a look how deep it was in the tyres. Backed it out, got it into the garage, repaired it, and there was lots of other stuff going on at the same time. Everybody was desperate to get a banked lap. That was Jason Bright off, and this is Tander off again at turn 1, down the escape road. And just have a look at this. He does a little spin, Now, just watch the reverse action. I think that actually made the fence. We'll ask him later. So he snuck out, got back out there, and they did a really good job. Now, have a look at this. That was Skyline. That's one of the biggest moments I've ever seen up there without crashing. Moffat again at the chase. Car was way too oversteery. You can see him have trouble with it. Again at the right-hander over Skyline, and then at the left-hander at the chase. Now, Lowndes was doing a good job in the meantime, but he got caught. He lost 0.2 of a second with some traffic, so he would have been a little bit further up. Those guys did a really good job to get out of his way, but when there's traffic in that part of the road, then you do get hurt. This guy, we've said it before, he is the benchmark qualifier in the field, and he did a really very, very professional job, a really tradesman-like job today to be the fastest leading into the top 10, Croppo.
Very, very quick. And he's topped the sheets now 3 times over the course of the weekend already. So here's the way they finished after qualifying, the top 10 qualifiers. And this was extraordinary for me because Whincup and Coulthard were both in the 2-minute 7.7s. And then the next little group, Winterbottom, Davis and Lowndes, were separated by virtually nothing at all. And in fact, as you can see in the right-hand column there, all the way back to David Reynolds, who'll be on the show a little bit later on, half a second covers the top 10, Scafie.
Yeah, well, and there's 20 cars within 1 second. So half a second for the top 10, 20 cars within 1 second. That's the closest at Bathurst we've seen.
Beautiful conditions today. Now, before we sneak away to our first break, I want to go back to the motorhome with Larko, who apparently's got his hands on the boss, who wants to have the last word.
Well, mate, I was just about to leave the Love Boat in. I've spotted a couple of things. Have a look at it. Russell's homemade bolognese. Like, check that out. I didn't realise he brought his dog with him. But what he has got here is his beautiful wife. We've just spotted her down here. Look, glass of wine. Look, check out the bed. Check out the suite down there.
Julia.
How cool is that? So, yep, I am going to ask him, what are you kids giggling at? Now, I've got to ask him the obvious question, mate. I don't want to put you on the spot here much. Let's talk about, abstaining on race weekend.
Well, yeah, it's a definite no-no. It definitely saps the energy, so especially at my age, I can tell you.
That is not what Julia told me a minute ago, pal.
On that tasteful note, we're going to sneak off to a break. As we go to the break, what I want to do is focus on Michael Caruso. Did a terrific job yesterday and today. There's more going on back there at the moment. Look at Larko. I hope that's low calorie and low fat there, you blokes. Play straight, will you? And we used Michael Caruso as a reporter for V8 Extra earlier in the year at Darwin. He did a great job, so we've given him a camera earlier in the week at the Transporter Parade. Here we go with Michael in action. We'll take a break and be back with more in a moment.
Hey, Michael Caruso here, and I'm in Bathurst City Centre today as the drivers are just about to head out for the Drivers' Parade. Just behind me here. And as you can see, the band has already started for this weekend, the 50th celebration of Bathurst. People here today. What do you think?
Oh, look, it's fantastic. Obviously, it's the race we all want to win. As you know, it's the biggest event. And you can see the popularity of it. Obviously, the event, township, triples, and obviously, great to obviously be able to drive through the main streets like this. Obviously, going fast enough for you to keep up.
Catch it up. Have a good one, mate. How are you guys going? Good.
Good, thanks.
And how many Bathursts have you guys been to?
None. We just stay at home and watch.
Are you going to get to watch it on TV?
Yep.
And who are you going for?
Ford.
And who are you going for?
Ford.
Ford as well?
Ford.
If we can get a close-up of the boys' legs here, you can see that the boys are typically Melbourne-shown legs here, and maybe a bit of sunlight today, and hopefully they'll come up all right for the weekend.
I normally moon tan, so it's quite rare to bring them out in the daytime.
Famous son of Larry Perkins, Jack, and Alex, how you boys going?
Yeah, good, mate. Great to be here, eh?
Mate, this turnout is spectacular, isn't it? Lots of people out here. You've been to a lot of Bathurst, 26, I believe, isn't it?
Mate, I turned 26 in August, and this is my 26th Bathurst, so I can't wait. 7th as a driver. Here with me, my mate Alex, a Frenchman. He's never been here. He's just worked out how to pronounce Bathurst, so we're good to go.
G'day, fellas. Now, we're Holden and Ford boys standing here. Are you guys friends, or...?
No, I don't like you.
And who's going to win this weekend?
Oh, mate. That's it, guys. That is the winner there. That's how you notice.
Holden.
How are you, boys? You good? I'll try to keep up with you. But, mate, Your hair is looking spectacular today, I've got to admit. Is this one of the haircuts you famously did yourself?
It is, actually. I got the sides done, but I take care of the top. It's all good. I learned off you, mate. You do great.
Yeah, actually, you've got a bit of style going on there, mate.
Yeah, actually, we've got mirrors on all walls at home, so saved about $40, mate. All good.
What do you think of the parade today?
Fantastic. The weather's beautiful. Great to see you drivers, and wish you good luck.
Everyone else is in the car from the 40s and you're cruising around in the Merc. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's good. If the race car's this comfortable, they've got an easy day on Sunday.
My dad's still got some 8mm footage of, Bathurst in the 60s. No pit wall. There was a yellow line. That was the difference between a racetrack and pit lane. They had speed braces. They didn't have rattle guns. The crowd just had basically a wire mesh fence. They didn't have transporters. They used to tow them up on back of trailers. Like, everything's evolved, and it's quite amazing to see the transformation of Bathurst as a whole. The way that, that obviously teams conduct themselves, the way that we travel there.
The current drivers have got spaceships, they've got fighter planes under their control, and they can drive them as hard as they want to. In our day, we had to be just a little bit more careful because a lot of things on the car were stock and sensitive to braking, and we had to nurse the cars.
When you think Peter Brock won Bathurst in 1979 by 6 laps. We lost Bathurst last year by 0.2 of a second. It is incredibly competitive, and 50 years is an unbelievable milestone.
I think the spirit of the fans is what hasn't changed. You talk to anyone that's been there, a lot of them have been there 20, 30, 40 years, and that hasn't changed. Everything else around them has, but the actual spirit of a fan hasn't changed.
There's 15 wins between the three gentlemen that we just saw as we welcome you back to Friday Night Live at Bathurst on 7, mate. We're celebrating 50 years of the great race here at Mount Panorama, and it's fantastic for me to look back at some of that old stuff. It's just brilliant, isn't it?
Oh, and look, some of the changes. You have a look at the old safety things there when there were Morris Minors and stuff all racing around and the people were standing on pit straight. It was just extraordinary. The changes today to this facility is amazing.
I said before, a little earlier, that there's a lot going on around the precinct at the moment, including up in the Chairman's Lounge, where once again Mark Beretta's got some very special guests.
Hey, Neil Schaefer, you reckon you're having a good night? You should be up here. This is probably the greatest gathering of Bathurst legends there's ever been, and Larry Perkins and Colin Bond join me. Larry, has there been a gathering like this before? This is pretty remarkable to rub shoulders with everyone here in the one place.
Well, it is remarkable, and it's a great delight, to be honest, too. You sort of don't think about it much, but people have been reminding me of this occasion over the last couple of days, and I think back at my own 26 times I come to Bathurst, and I've got my own 6 special ones there as well, and so it does bring back great memories, yeah.
And Colin, great to be, I guess, back with everyone and celebrated. I mean, it's been amazing, hasn't it, that 50 years has gone by like that?
Well, it has. I mean, like Larry was saying, he's done 26. We did 28, I think, The first 2 you could hardly count, Isuzu, Bullet. But, I think when you come here in a Monaro, which was in 69, and the first time I had a competitive motor car here, and under the, with Harry Firth and that and the boys, and to get a win was just something fantastic, and it really launched not only my career but Peter Brock's career as well, because he was also in one of the cars that year, and obviously then with Holden for the next 7 years, and then we had the great one with Alan Moffat in 77, the old one too. So look, it's been great memories, and I just think that Bathurst is always a great place to come to.
You guys really built the legend for so many of us, and there are so many great memories, and the things that you did on this track are the stuff of legend that will stick with us forever. Larry, can you pick a favourite moment?
Hey, look, when you got the luxury of 6 times the win here, it's fantastic, and they're all favourite moments. But if I'm pushed, I've got to say the 95 win when we got a puncher on the very first lap and had to come in the pits and then pass every single car in the race to win it. I tell you, that one's a pretty hard one to toss.
Yeah. Colin, for you, would I be right guessing maybe 77 or was it 69?
Oh, look, 69 was a very important one, and 77 was also very important. I think, to come here with one car and put it across the line first is quite a good feat with anybody. To bring two cars here and bring them both across the line together is a very hard thing to do, and I think it was a credit to the boys, you know, and the team manager at the time, Carol Smith. I think that basically that will be a memory that I always remember, and I think a lot of the people here also remember that particular finish.
Yeah, look, it's a great night inside here, guys. We'll let you go and enjoy it once again. Larko, you would be in your element up here. It is fantastic rubbing shoulders with all these blokes.
Well, mate, I'm in my element down here. I'm sort of rubbing shoulders with all the mechanics. I mean, it's all happening down in the pit lane. It really gives you a sense, a feel of what's going on. These guys just don't pack up and go home. That's Garth Dander's car over there, right? I mean, have a look at it. You'd reckon, I mean, I know it's been in a shunt today, but looks like it's been totaled, but it hasn't. I've just been having a wrestling match here with my old mate. There's Justin Pecker Burns. He used to work for me, actually. He wants to put this engine in there. I want to show you in there before he does. So we've just had a bit of a blue. It's all okay, Pecker. But if you have a look in there, you can see the complexity of the roll cage. That's pretty cool. Some of the coolers, steering rack and elements. Now, to get some sense of what they're doing to this car, and most of the cars in pit lane, by the way, before tomorrow. So, obviously, fresh engines going in now. That engine, you know, an engine's about 120-odd thousand bucks. That's got about probably 40,000 bucks worth of servicing done to it before they slide it in here for Bathurst for the race. Now, they'll have new, starting at the top, there'll be new valves in there, new valve springs, retainers, all those smaller components, new cam timing equipment, fresh camshaft, new pistons, new rods, new set of cylinder heads. It'll have pretty well everything bar the block and the external type stuff. So a lot of work. It'll have a new clutch fitted to it, which are about $12,000. So if we go through the car, look, new windscreen going on the car. As we come through, you can see there's none of the rear end. The shock absorbers have all come out to be serviced. I just can't show you enough stuff here. Look here, look. Now, fresh radiators go in. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not leaking, but you want nice, these little fins, you want them nice and clean so the air flows through them nicely. They put new exhausts and new mufflers on the cars, these secondary exhausts here. Gearbox, fresh sequential gearbox in the cars. So that means that all the gears, that'll be serviced, all the gears in there will be replaced. What else can we find around here? Diff housing, this is a biggie. Check this out. This is a beautiful piece of engineering. There's a complete diff housing. All new brakes, calipers, pads, discs, bearings, housing. The diff ratio in here is fresh. I mean, it is a big, big rebuild.
Get out of there, will you, Larko? You're playing with other people's equipment at the moment, and I'm sure they want to shoo you out of there. Mark Larkham in the pit lane of the Toll Holden Racing team. A lot of work going in there as they prep for Sunday's race, 161 laps. We'll take a break now on Friday Night Live from Bathurst. When we come back, we've got a couple of special guests. Lee Kernaghan and Brad Jones are going to join us. Stay with us. Fantastic scenes midweek. The driver signing the autograph session downtown at Bathurst on Wednesday, and you can see thousands of fans enjoying all of the drivers who were there lined up. They had all the gear out. The boys were signing frantically, and it's been a huge week. We've had sparkling weather here at Bathurst as we welcome you back to 7, mate, in our coverage of Friday Night Live at Bathurst. It's the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000, celebrating 50 years of the great race out Mount Panorama. Of course, you saw the Swans get up on 7 last Saturday. You're going to see the Melbourne Cup on 7 soon, but this weekend on 7, it's all about the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000. Time now to welcome some very special guests up to our panel. Folks, would you please put your hands together for Brad Jones and Lee Kernaghan. Welcome, boys. I have to explain off the top, there's an Albury connection here, so would you guys care to explain?
I came from Albury, so did Jonesy, but I was the bloke who couldn't girls down at the Terminus Hotel. He was all the good-looking ones.
That's not 100% true, but Lee used to sing with an old girlfriend of mine, and we'd go.
I bet he did.
You absolutely did, didn't you?
I wanted her to be my girlfriend, but had no luck in that.
And so we go along and listen to Lee sing on a Friday night or something, and away they go.
Along with about 3 other people at the Carriers Arms Hotel.
I have to point out that Lee, as I'm sure everybody is well and truly aware, is one of Australia's great artists. He's sold more than 2 million albums, extraordinary numbers. But what you don't know is that he's a hardcore race fan. In fact, a few years ago, and we haven't worked out the numbers here at the moment, we trained him in one of the Celebrity Grand Prix events, and I've never seen a bloke get more dedicated to the notion of racing a car than you.
I tell you what, you learn a whole new respect for when you can get out on a track and just go as fast as you want to go. And I remember going through the hairpin bend, and I lost it, and I was in a spin, and it teaches you a whole new respect for a motor vehicle, doesn't it?
Now, all those tips that Neil gave you in those days, how did it go? Did it bode well for you?
No.
Yeah, thanks, Lee.
No, some of them did. No, I learned a lot, actually. I learned a lot, carry it with me to this day. So, but it was a lot of fun learning from you blokes.
It's fantastic to be able to share the passion and to be able to understand a bit more about the sport, and having an ambassador in the process such as yourself. Bradley, I just want to go to you quickly, because very big day for you. You've ended up with one of your cars second fastest. Great job by Fabian. And for Jason Bright, a 10th would have done the job.
Yeah, he was a bit unlucky. Got some traffic on his quick lap. He was on track to do a time something similar to Fabian. So I think we've got some really quick cars here this weekend, and all 3 of our cars look like they can get a result. So it should be a good race on Sunday.
So what Croppo was saying about coming from Albury is like starting from the back of the grid. That's not true.
That's absolutely not true.
That's what he said.
He came fourth in that celebrity race. So there's a lot of talent.
Yeah, he gets touchy when you start to give his students a bit of a rough up. Now, you're going to perform for us later in the show. You're going to take us out at the end of the evening, and I know that you've got something very special for us. You've got a new album coming out in a couple of weeks on the 19th of October, Beautiful Noise, and you've given a slight tweak to the title track for us this evening.
That's right, Neil. Well, being the 50th anniversary, I wanted to do something special, and I spoke to Tony Cochran about it at V8 Supercars, and he gave us a little bit of direction, a bit of advice on what he thinks, encapsulates the spirit of Bathurst and Mount Panorama. And we got the songwriting team together, and we've written a special V8 Supercar version of Beautiful Noise, which we're going to play tonight.
You're a talented man, Lee, but do you have enough talent to be able to get either of these two guys to sing at any stage? Because we'd love to see that, wouldn't we, folks? That would be good.
You can, I can answer this for the doers when I say absolutely not.
Oh dear, it's good to watch Bradley and Scapey have a big sweat up. We're going to take a break on Friday Night Live from Bathurst. You'll see Lee again soon. You'll see Bradley's cars in action over the weekend. Give him a round of applause. We're back soon.
On the fence is always a dry argument. Want to make friends? Bring glasses, pipeline, pressure gauge, temperite, and a non-drinking driver. He can always watch the race. Every now and then they get a rude awakening. Stewart did this. Must have seen that keg. How blasé can you get? Ann or Forrest been up to the bank? Haven't a clue what he stopped for, but he shouldn't really. You know, there's cars everywhere.
By today's standards, it was a time of innocence. There were no fancy fluids back then, and the watering can did just fine.
10 a.m. Saturday, and more than 100 drivers suffering from pre-race tension listen carefully to last-minute regs and instructions.
Even in the first year at Mount Panorama, the story of the race was told in numbers.
55 cars valued at about £90,000, ready to do some 27,000 miles in around 7 hours, watched by 25,000 people.
And potential disasters had a whimsical air.
After 5 hours of thrashing, the strain can show awful quick. Happy to bring it to a safe stop, you then have to work out whether to chase that wheel. Yes, it's gone, nuts and all.
There's plenty of action in the pits, and the same goes for Forest Elbow. Track officials rush to the rescue, but fortunately no one's hurt, and the race goes on.
Besides staying on the road, the big argument in the 60s was whether size matters.
It's a track that doesn't suit big cars, and it's difficult to know how to drive against this pack of minis. As long as they don't get too far behind, the big fellows can always press later.
This was 1966, when Bob Holden and Rauno Alterman led a conga line of minis.
The first 9 places outright to Mini Cooper S.
Every year, Bathurst kicks up its heels.
It's on again, the first weekend in October, and Australia's wheelers and dealers focus attention on Bathurst, New South Wales.
And rituals have become rusted on.
It's almost a pilgrimage. Some 1,000 people brave the rigours of a cold dawn high above sea level, just to be part of this world of GT, this Gallagher 500.
In 1970, the big red Ford blitzed Bathurst. Alan Moffat broke the race record by 20 minutes.
The sheer potency and speed of Moffat's car on Conrad as he gradually lengthens his lead over French.
And he took us along for the ride.
This is a blind corner as we come up over onto McPhillamy Pass. Hard braking and again hard on the accelerator to make sure your drift through here in top gear in excess of 100 mile an hour is...
Ahead were those legendary duels with Holden's White Knight.
Peter Fox, this brilliant young 27-year-old Melburnian, has driven a faultless race.
Racing at Bathurst wasn't even a decade old.
This is Bathurst, the only race of its kind in the world. Absolutely unique, and it's certainly run on one of the world's great tracks.
But already we knew this was the great race.
Welcome back to V8. No, I knew I was going to say it at some stage to Friday Night Live at Bathurst. I knew I was going to do it at some stage, Scapey. That was a great report by Neil Carney there. We're going to hear from him in just a tick. But really, for me, the period that I loved the most was, I knew I'd do it, 1972. At the height of the Holden, Ford and Chrysler battle, it was just fantastic, wasn't it?
Oh, well, that's where the whole Ford and Holden thing actually started, didn't it? I mean, there were so many of those cars and stars of the day. But what about that monster moment there at Moffat's? He's come out of turn 2, big tank slapper, sideways, ended up rotating and went on to win the race. It was extraordinary.
Now, Neil Kearney started his day out doing a fox hunt, of all things, in Tasmania. He's now here at Mount Panorama, and it's your very first visit, mate.
It is. I was doing a fox hunt for the Melbourne Cup, and I think there's so much similarity between the Melbourne Cup and Bathurst. It's both about danger, it's crowds, it's excitement, and it's got a mystique about it. Now, talking about mystique, so has the FB Holden. Rick and Todd Kelly, you've been doing these road trips up to Bathurst for, what, 10 years now?
Yeah, look, it has been about 10 years. It started off in a Brits motorhome, actually. Todd, I, and myself and Nathan Pretty jumped in that and headed up over a couple of days. And we've managed to jump in a lot of different vehicles, from a Cadillac stretch limo to a Hummer to an old Kingswood. And this year, obviously, sticking with the era of 1963, this is actually a 1960 FB Holden. So big last year for us at Holden. We thought we'd jump in something like this and do 80k an hour all the way from Melbourne.
And Todd, this is actually your mum's car.
Yeah, we had to ask Mum if we could borrow the car, which I haven't done for quite some time. It was a good trip though. Rick tended to hog the driving. It's a little bit of a scam because there's not much legroom in the back, and he had myself and Tim Blanchard, my teammate, jump in the back there for most of it. It was a really good trip. We only passed one car. Well, it was actually a tractor, and got passed by about 25 cars. But yeah, it was a good trip.
Well, I'm much older than you guys, but I remember when these were the car you'd take to the drive-in. These were the car of choice. Todd, how's the shoulder?
Yeah, it's holding up. Got through the first few days of practice. Funnily enough, and the worst part about it is it's actually the worst up over the top of the mountain through Reed and McPhillamy, where you're really putting a lot of force through the wheel. So it'll be a long day on Sunday. Hopefully I'll get through okay, and into surgery on Tuesday as soon as we get back to Melbourne.
Which is also your birthday.
Yeah, certainly not the best birthday present I've had over the years, but if I don't get it done straight after this weekend, I'll miss the first round next year. So really important to get into it and get all the rehab happening and get into the new Nissan Altima and get to the first round next year.
Hope it's a successful operation. Happy birthday, Rick, Todd. Hope it's a great weekend for you guys at Bathurst.
Appreciate it, thank you.
OK, I've got a great little yarn to share with you about Harry Firth and Bob Jane, our car, Lee Holdsworth and Craig Baird. Now, I found Bob, just can't find Harry, but Rossstone doesn't pay really well. So if you want to drive here, you've got to work.
I think he's asleep.
Come on, Harry, up you get. Now, these pair of clowns, seriously, they got a replica of the 1963 Bathurst winning Cortina and drove it up here and drove around the mountain. Tell us about the experience.
Scary. In one word, just wrap it up. It was scary. No, it was pretty cool, you know, to drive the 1963 Bathurst winner. Was something totally different to what we do these days. You know, we have a lot more safety, and the car really feels like a race car. Whereas back then, you know, we were struggling to keep it on the road at 40 mile per hour. So that was pretty unreal.
I love the way you still make reference to 40 mile per hour. I mean, we're looking at vision of it now, Beto. Seriously, we're having a bit of fun here. But what was it like? You know, it gives you great respect for the guys that did it back then, yeah?
Well, things haven't changed, mate. Like, I'm doing a diff change now, and that's what they did then. But, look, I was fortunate enough to be in the passenger seat, but I've never been so scared in my life, mate. There was a bit of bumps there, I reckon.
Mate, we saw some shocking overalls that you're wearing from the period. Were they made to fit, or were they because they're quite tight?
I actually got mine out of your wardrobe.
We'll leave that alone. Now, this race this weekend, we've got through qualifying, and this isn't about qualifying. It's all very good, but at the end of the day, it's about the race car. Are you guys happy? Is the car comfortable? What do you expect to come on Sunday?
Yeah, quite comfortable at a certain speed, but once we push in qualifying, some issues came out, and unfortunately it didn't make the shootout, but you know, it gives the boys a bit of a rest tomorrow, so that's the way I see it for them. But you know, we've got such a long race on Sunday, 1,000 kilometres. We start from 15th. It's not the end of the world. We can climb back, and you know, it's we've got a great co-driver right here, so he's going to make up a few spots at the start and then hand it over to me. So hopefully we'll come home in a really strong position.
Yeah, well, I reckon you're a great pair. You're a real dark horse there, mate. So I hope you do well on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Mark Larkham there with Lee Holdsworth and Craig Baird. They ended up 15th today in qualifying, disappointed to not make the top 10, which will be our shootout feature for tomorrow afternoon. Scafey, one of the things I wanted to say before we went off to the break was that if you go back to 1963, the record keeping didn't include a fastest lap of the race, and I was desperate to find out how fast or slow, as the case may be, the cars may have been. Fastest practice lap was achieved by an E.H. Holden, 3 minutes and 29 seconds, and that was in the day, of course, when we didn't have the chase.
Well, yeah, exactly. So you had a big, long, straight run and a shorter circuit. And lap time, I mean, what would a modern road car do? It'd be unbelievably fast. It'd be 50 seconds, maybe even a minute.
And the quickest car in a straight line was a beautiful Studebaker Lark. It did 182 kilometres an hour in a straight line. Can you believe it? We're going to take a break now on the program. We'll come back in a tick. We've got a very special game to play, Celebrity Revhead. When we come back here live to Bathurst, you're watching Seven Mates. Stay with us.
This weekend, we celebrate 50 years at Mount Panorama. We'll pay homage to the legends who created the history of Bathurst. We'll reflect on their heartache and relive their moments of greatness.
That's incredible feeling.
Also joining us for the celebrations are the rising stars in the Dunlop Series, the Porsches, the Utes and the Touring Car Masters. Then, on Sunday, our modern-day heroes will write the next chapter in the history of this great race. And away we go! To mark the occasion, Seven will broadcast 22 hours from the mountain, and you've got the best seat in the house with more than 160 cameras, trackside, pit lane, on board and in the air. One of the greatest sights in Australian motorsport. There's only one place to see the super cheap auto Bathurst 1000 live and free, and that's right here on 7.
Now this is where the action is, away from the track, the merchandise area in Harris Park. The Holden versus Ford rivalry breathes through. Team Red over in Holden Heaven, Team Blue over at the Blue Oval store.
Go Holden! Can you say, go Frosty? Go Frosty.
Now have a look at this, the super cheap auto track store, 1,200 metres squared, 6 months of preparation and 120 people working each day to keep our fans happy. You can buy everything and more for your weekend at the mountain. Stuff is literally flying off the shelves. Now something very special special happening at the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 is the Club Plus program. You will get exclusive membership opportunities. One of those will allow you to enter the competition to win this HSV R8 Club Sport. Now, this is Russell Ingle, the enforcer. This is his actual personal car. He will hand deliver the keys to you at the Sydney Telstra 500. So why else wouldn't you sign up to Club Plus than to take this off Russell Ingle's hands? Russell Ingle, how good is this track store?
It's unbelievable. I mean, that's one thing about Super Cheap. They do it well, and this store has been going for quite a few years now, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Now, Club Plus this weekend, how are you feeling about the fact that you're about to lose ownership of your very own HSV to one of these lucky people out there?
Can't say I'm happy about it. You know, I mean, what's the deal with that? Super Cheap give me a car. They said, here, Russ, have a nice, shiny red HSV to drive around in when you're home. I go, oh, thanks for that. Then they ring me up and say, oh, by the way, we're actually going to give it away to some punter. Now someone else is going to own it.
You obviously didn't read that fine print at the bottom of your contract before you signed it.
That's the trouble with me. I never read the fine print. But on the other side of it, some lucky race fan is going to walk out at the end of the year with that HSV R8, and I think that it's going to be pretty lucky.
Thanks, Rusty. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
It's Friday Night Live at Bathurst as we welcome you back. Rihanna Crean reporting there, and a Super Cheap Auto store down the bottom of the circuit, up the top as well. They've been frantically busy all week. It's a great story. Super Cheap Auto have been delivering this race to us since back in 2005. It's great to have them on board. Time now for Celebrity Revhead. Now, I'd like you to welcome, please, with a warm round of applause, our special contestants this evening, Davey Reynolds, Jack Perkins and Fabian Coulthard. I might mention that not very long ago on V8 Extra, Fabian was involved in a program that we made down at Brad Jones Racing where we trialled this, and it was a spectacular disaster thanks to Bradley Jones, which most things are thanks to Bradley Jones, but it's a completely different story. Boys, thanks for joining us today. Before we play silly games, let's talk about motor racing. You squeaked into the top 10 just.
Yeah, I just got in there. You know, everyone has to re-qualify tomorrow, so I think, you know, my engineer was very disappointed at me today. We know we're only 10th, but you know, I think we bought ourselves a ticket into tomorrow's shootout, so that's all that counts today. You know, we've done the bare minimum, so yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Good. Jack, for you, we spoke just before you went out. 26th, probably a bit disappointed with that because you looked stronger earlier. What happened?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I only got told about half an hour before that I'd qualify the car, so that was a bit interesting. But we had a little electrical problem with the car and I didn't have the dash working, so excuses, doesn't matter. Long day Sunday and no trophies today, mate. And you were nearly the man with the cigar, Fab. That was unbelievable. Like a great time. You must be thrilled with that performance. The Lockwood car was very strong.
Yeah, look, we were pretty happy with that. You know, we were, consistently in the 10 from the start of qualifying, and to actually punch out a 2-minute 7, I was, pretty impressed. But look, it doesn't mean anything. We've got to do it all again tomorrow in the top 10 shootout. But the car's been pretty good, and the guys are doing a great job. I know. Enough of the serious stuff. You guys know the drill here. Celebrity Revhead, you have to identify who you are. So we're just going to throw it to you, and you've got to try and work out. You've got to narrow a category, and we'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Importantly, our barrel girl this evening is the 6-time Bathurst winner, Mark Scaife, who, if one of these guys vaguely gets it right, he's going to wheel in some Celebrity Revhead Cooper's beer. There he is. Look at that, Scaife.
Do we win that?
So it might even be for me before the thing's done this evening. So, Davey, you're down the end. You can start, try and identify who you are and try and rev this bloke up, you folks.
So this is Celebrity Revhead, yeah?
It's Celebrity Revhead.
So am I a sports person?
No. So you don't get another go. It's the way the rules work. And the good news is because I'm completely the adjudicator, it's all my rules. So whatever I say goes. So, Jack?
I'm going to start with the gender. Am I male?
Yes. Sometimes we question it, but
yes. Okay. Thank you. It's good to just clarify.
Depending on your dress code of the day, but go ahead. That's another one.
You meant my celebrity head, Dave.
Not
but
sure,
anyway,
really.
Am I a sports person?
No, most definitely not. So that's it. You can't have another go now. You had your credit. Fab.
Am I a sports person?
No, definitely not.
Awesome.
Davey?
Back to the start.
So obviously I'm not a sports person. Am I a male?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Just
did you need confirmation of that, did you? Please proceed.
So that means I'm female?
No.
No, Dave. The answer was yes.
Oh, that
sorry,
make any
yes,
sense
sorry.
at all? Jack?
Okay. So am I,
Thank goodness you can drive a race car, Davey.
Oh, no.
Jack?
Am I a politician?
Yeah, I would actually, yes, I'd say the answer to that one. What? No, my rules.
Oh.
Well, no, not in the strict sense, no.
Okay, so can I get another question?
Yeah, you can because I stopped.
Am I related to myself?
There's some state jokes there that I won't go into because we're being seen nationally, Fab.
Am I male?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I a cartoon?
No.
Davey?
Davey.
Am I a politician?
No.
I'm just using his question.
Animal, mineral or vegetable?
Oh, God.
I don't know, I'm just going to
I was about to say, am I famous?
Yes.
Okay. Well, obviously, celebrity heads.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, am I... Oh, no.
This is going as well as it did last time.
This is very tough. So, animal, mineral... Am I a vegetable?
No.
Not saying a word. Fab?
Am I an animal?
No.
Potentially.
Come on, Davey, be creative.
Be creative.
Yeah.
So I'm male, obviously.
Yes, you're male.
So I'm not a politician or a
You're not
sports
a politician
person.
or
Am
a
I a
sports
businessman?
person. No, you're most definitely not.
I've got to think outside the square, don't I?
Yeah,
I'm
you do.
okay, I got it, yeah.
Jack?
Okay, am I a capital city of Australia?
No. No.
Just throwing it out there.
No, I mean, guys, think about objects, think about something creative, artists, actors, you know.
Two eggs.
Am I an actor?
Yes.
Am I in Hollywood?
Yes.
Oh, shit, we're on a roll. Am I in a movie?
Yes.
Oh, mates.
Oh, this is like going to the dentist,
but
isn't
I'm not
it?
but I'm not a cartoon.
No.
I don't know.
At one point.
Huh? Action movie?
Yes.
Oh, I'm out of question. I'm out of... yeah, nationality. What nationality am I? I can't ask you
Yeah,
that,
you can't ask questions. We're the one... Seriously. You enjoy a certain type of ball sport.
Am I...
Trying to help you.
Yeah, well quite clearly. I do need it. Nah, pass. Carry on.
Davey, come on, energise this. Let's get into qualifying mode.
Am I a cartoon?
Yes, yes.
I'm on a roll here.
Yeah, you're on a roll. We need the bing.
Do I have big silly ears like I got on now?
Yes.
Am I a rabbit?
You might have fleas. Jack.
Oh, okay.
Do I get a lifeline? Can I ask the crowd for a hint? Or
yeah, you can.
someone?
You can phone a friend. He's over there in blue with the Coopers.
Give me something, Mark.
Big motorsport identity, Scafey said off camera.
Am I involved in V8 supercars?
Yes.
Have I recently announced that I'm going to retire towards the end of this year?
Yes. You are?
Tony Cochrane.
Yes. On you, Jack. Like a trip to the dentist with no anaesthetic.
Are we done?
That segment. Boys, folks, would you please thank Davey Reynolds, Jack Perkins and Fabian Coulthard, our celebrity rev heads this evening. Thanks also to Coopers. Save me, please. Neil Kearney, save me.
Well, we're looking for some celebrity rev heads out here, and we've found a couple. We're out in the campsites, and you know there's campers all over the mountain. But here in this Apollo camper, up here, we've found James Moffat and Alex Davison. Now, how's it going up here, boys? It's obviously an exciting night. You're enjoying yourselves?
Yeah, it's good, Neil. So I enjoy camping here. I did it for the first time last year and thought I'd do it again this year. So it's just good not having to worry about leaving the track or coming in early and having to find a car park out the front there.
And you guys are obviously swatting up on your driving and the team tactics and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and a bit of Sudoku. How'd you go today?
Look, it was a bit of a struggle, to be honest. There's a couple of close moments out there. So, yeah, we've been chasing the car all weekend. Oh, it was a timely phone call.
Yeah, so, that's good. Someone telling you you're on TV, mate. What's gone wrong?
Oh, look, the car's...
I don't want you to break down in tears here either.
No, it's just been... car's been very nervous for us to drive. and we've just been struggling with the setup a bit. So we've got tomorrow to try and improve it for the...
And Alex, you blame James for all the problems?
Well, I was watching qualifying on TV, so at least I can't get the blame. So I was a bit of a nervous co-driver with a couple of his moments, but I have to say it was a very good save over the top of the mountain there. So the car's in one piece and we can fight away the next 2 days.
And neither of you are snorers, are you? So you'll have a peaceful night here in the van and live to fight another day.
Well, the Apollo camper is very comfortable, so
that was a nice plug. Thanks, guys. That was a very good plug. And good luck over the weekend. Hope things look up.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, sir.
Well, this is the prize for the weekend, the Peter Brock Trophy, and Alan Grice is acting as security here at the moment. Alan, great to have this function with all the legends. You enjoy catching up with everyone here tonight?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the only bloke that's not here tonight is my first co-driver, and I'm that old, it was Captain Cook.
Now, Alan, your great memories from this incredible race. Well, if you could nail it down to one.
Oh, without doubt, the first time winning here as a privateer with, beating the factories with pace. And also realising that we had a bit of a problem with an oil leak, but we earned the time on the track to pull in and top the diff up, and that was pretty special. But that's the sort of thing the spectators don't see or know, but it's pretty special to be able to earn the time to fix the car, which we did.
Alan, you come here this year and today was an incredible crowd. What makes this event so special? What do you tell people who haven't been here before? How do you go about describing it to them?
Very simply, it's not a motor race here at the weekend. It's a national sporting event. You know, rugby is my code. I don't particularly like Aussie rules, but I've been to a grand final and it's a sensational day. Cricket tests, the Melbourne Cup. You know, I'm not interested in horses, but I've been to the Melbourne Cup and it's a fabulous Australian sporting event. So is Bathurst.
Gracie, it's great to see you back here. Enjoy the weekend. All the very best. Have you got a tip for us as to who's going to win this?
Yeah, red car.
good tip. True to he still beats red inside, guys.
He does indeed. Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Gricey. Alan Grice there, winner in 1986 with Graham Bailey in the Chickadee car, and then again with the Holden Racing team with Win Percy in 1990. Great character and a real racer.
Oh, unbelievable racer. He was one of the hardest competitors of all time, and certainly one of the guys. If Russell Ingall's the enforcer of today, certainly Alan Grice was of that era.
And on the subject of real racers, sorry, Scooby.
Well, Tony Crocker, and he's never won anything. He's come out and he's beat Scooby. It's unbelievable.
I was going to try and ignore you and just let you be silly on your own there. On the subject of great races, coming up after the break, our old mate joins us. Jimmy Richards will be right here, 7-time Bathurst winner. Give him a round of applause as we go to the break. We'll have Richo with us in just a tick. This is Friday Night Live at Bathurst on 7 Mate.
After a grueling 1,000 kilometres at the mountain, the V8 supercars head north to the streets of Surfers Paradise. But the Armour All Gold Coast 600 will be anything but a holiday. Away we go. Our homegrown heroes will be joined by some of the biggest names in world motorsport. The co-drivers are in the chair. Will these international superstars be able to tame our V8 supercars in one of the toughest concrete jungles in the world? The 97 Formula One world champ under attack. This will be carnage. Whack! With 2 massive concerts and a spectacular backdrop, the Armour All Gold Coast 600 is a fitting finale to the season of endurance. This is an almighty dive into the chicane. Oh, they make contact. What a race. Great work, boys. For all your ticket, event and broadcast information, visit v8supercars.com.au.
This look at the rich history of Bathurst brought to you by Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
As we celebrate the 50th year of the Bathurst Endurance Race, a visit to the mountain is not complete without a pit stop at the National Motor Racing Museum. While the modern V8 supercar heroes are duking it out on the track, the machines that went before them, and plenty more, are nestled just back from Conrod Strait, within earshot of their 2012 counterparts. And it's not just Mount Panorama's annual October Classic that's celebrated within its walls.
The name out the front says it all. It's a National Motor Racing Museum. The heart of the museum, of course, is pretty much this room you can see now, which is the tin tops, the V8s, the touring cars. It's the thing that everyone knows Bathurst for, the big event. But we also look at the history of Bathurst, going back to 38, and before that, the Vale Circuit. but we've also pushed it out to motor racing in general in Australia, with Wayne Gardner's bike, the open wheelers. We try to cover all gamuts.
Ford fans still get jelly legs over the sight of the Falcons that Alan Moffat and Colin Bond took to a 1-2 form finish 35 years ago, and they're still special to the men that drove them.
It was a team effort that particular weekend, and I don't know what they'd actually do it today, but we had the instructions from our team manager at the time, form finish 1-2. It was obvious what to do, and we're able to do it. I mean, it's hard to get one car over the line, let alone two. So I think it was a good effort, actually. But I think it's good to have the cars in the museum, you know, where they're all together. People can come and look at them. They're very well prepared and maintained, and I think it's just nice that people can, if they're petrol heads like we all are, to go in there, have a look at the cars and see what they used to be like.
Everyone's favourite display is either this one right here, the Moffat Falcon, now the 1-2. We're luckily at the moment we've got both of them here. And down the back, the Brock VK, that gets a lot of people, you know, that's an emotional thing, the whole Brock story.
Peter Brock's winning HDT Commodore Big Banger from 1984 is indeed a firm fan favourite, and it's the car featured in the Brock statue outside the museum. There are Bathurst winners everywhere you look. Group A wasn't the fans' favourite era, but it's represented by the Turbo Sierra that Tony Longhurst and Thomas Mazzera drove to victory in 1988.
We had a little problem with the throttle cable, so at one stage I thought we were going to be out of the race. And then I suppose towards the end of the race it was an anticlimax because, you know, all the cars, Alan Moffat dropped out and the cars with Dick that were racing against, so at the end we were cruising. But I thought this is pretty good, this will be easy to win this another 10 times, which is not the case. But, yeah, it's great memories now.
Donations and memberships help keep new and different displays rotating through the facility, which has become an important part of the Mount Panorama precinct.
Well, if we don't have a museum, you know, we lose the history. We lose all the, you know, the foundation of what the motor racing's all about. And for me, to see the museum still up and running has been fantastic. To see it develop, see it grow, to see even, teams position their cars within the museum, for other people to share and have, great memories of. Now, it's not only the drivers that have fun memories of racing the cars or watching them race, there's all the fans and everyone else that flock to the race meetings that get an opportunity to go up and almost be up close and personal with the cars that they once loved.
And in two glass cabinets, perhaps one of the most emotive displays, the personal trophy collection of the King of the Mountain himself. Next year is the 75th anniversary of the Mount Panorama circuit. No doubt there are many more memories to be made and eventually put on display here at the National Motor Racing Museum.
This look at the rich history of Bathurst brought to you by Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
And a very big thanks to everybody at the National Motor Racing Museum here in Bathurst and many of the collectors and especially our friends at Bowden's for their help with the magnificent opener you saw at the top of today's telecast and at the beginning of this broadcast as well. It's time now to welcome a very special guest to the panel, a man who's done the job here on no less than 7 occasions. He's Shannon's main man. Please welcome Jimmy Richards. G'day, Jimmy.
Thanks, Joe.
Richo, you've had extraordinary success here. 3 times you did it with Peter Brock, 3 times you did it with Mark, and then there was also the 98 win in the Super Touring car. You've been one of the great competitors here over the years, and you continue to this very day to be ultra competitive here. You're out there in the Touring Car Masters with Shannon's on the car. You've been doing a great job. You are, by any standard, ask anybody in the paddock, the driver's driver.
Well, I suppose it's nice to have that accolade, I suppose, but I mean, growing up, I never thought I'd be here, obviously. I didn't think I'd ever drive a car when I was a youngster, but to have the success I've had has been, you know, fantastic. But it's you take it for granted, more or less. You know, Scapey, you sort of, it all happens around you and you get results and you don't think that they're anything special until, I suppose, you get to a little bit older age when you look back and say, oh, gee, that wasn't too bad.
And can't you tell how much Richo has got more and more experience and got more and more acclimatised to this place? Because in 1992, controversial finish, you made that statement to the crowd, And then 2002 come out and said, you're a pack of very nice people.
But you've had some great memories here, Richo. I mean, you've been one of the hardest of hard races at this place over the years.
Oh, no, I suppose I have in a way, but and I've always tried to be reasonably fair, you might say. If you get the respect of your other competitors, then you can give and take, and you can have some great close racing without, firing each other into the wall, you might say.
Yeah, some special moments for you, special memories. I mean, I know it's always near impossible to isolate, but, I can think of a bunch of them. What about you?
No, I think obviously the first one with the Brocky was good, but it was a little bit surreal because it was really Pete's team, and I didn't really know anyone. And but then the Nissan days to me were the best days because they were with Scapey, and we all got on great. The team as a unit was just absolutely brilliant. Our wins in the Nissan, and obviously 92 was great. And then I sort of drifted away and did other things, and Mark went on to be an unbelievably successful driver, and then he invited me back in 2002, and that was special because it was 10 years, and I was 55 years old, and managed to win it again, and I knew that would be the last one. But no, really good memories.
And Richo, even beyond that, I can remember there was an extraordinary qualifying when you lined up with the Holden Racing team for you at one stage there.
He qualified me.
Yeah,
he qualified me.
Yeah.
He did. He qualified
that was
me.
definitely not in the script.
that was not in the plan.
It was a stroke of luck, I think.
It was very good.
You were cranky with yourself, I remember, the year that you gave the wall a brush up the top, and that was pretty much game over for you, though, in the main game, wasn't it?
No, it was. I think when I brushed the wall, I said to Scapey, that's it, I won't be back again.
Yeah.
I always sort of said to myself, if I could qualify a car in the top 10, having not driven them all the time, I'd be happy and I'd sort of come back. But even the last 2 years, I probably didn't enjoy it as much as I did, and I was probably doing it for the wrong reasons, to be honest. But I knew when the time was right to stop. Not to stop driving cars, but Bathurst in the main game.
Yeah, but he was still great on the beers. Very, very good. Very, very good beer drinker.
I can remember being tortured by Richo and the beers.
I think I taught Scapey how to drink beer and how to arm wrestle.
Yeah. What you folks needed to see at some stage was some of the debriefs with these blokes late in the day. They were pretty interesting back in the day, weren't they?
Certainly were.
1992, as Scapey was alluding before, that was a very emotional weekend. We lost Denny that weekend. Yep. You guys went on to win the race in bizarre circumstances. The big downpour, the shortened race, and to this day, it's one of the mega moments which we're going to have a look at in just a tick. But just give us your quick description of what that was all about, Richo.
Well, I suppose the thing is you don't think about it at the time, but we crashed, we were out of the race, you don't realise there's a red flag, and so I'm coming back down the straight to be delivered to the pit area, thinking that I'd spoiled the race for our team and for Scapey and Fred. And then, as I was walking up towards the pit area, Scapey comes running down and puts his arms around me. He says, "We won the race." Yeah. I said, "Jesus, you could knock me over with a pedal."
How good's that?
From the villain to hero in 1 second. Like but no, it was great. I mean, when you're up in the dais, of course, third goes out first, second place goes out, and then the leaders go out. And I can remember when Dick went out, he was revving the crowd up as you would. If we were in his shoes, we would have too. So Scapey, we've seen a couple of beer cans being thrown. So Scapey's, we've got the Top Gun Tooheys jackets on, so Scapey's lining his pockets with Tooheys cans. Just take it easy, man. We're not here to fire cans around. We'll just go out there, do our thing, and we'll be off here having a beer, quick, smart. And of course, when we got out there, we...
yeah, what did you say?
I think you led me on. I think it was, You made me angry.
Yeah, you were angry, all right.
And of course, next season, Nissan are back 20 years on. And interesting, I looked up what the fastest lap of the 1992 race was. The weather was pretty dirty. You achieved that. It was a 16.4, and that was in the day where we had the chase. So it gives you an idea of the evolution of speed over the time here.
Oh, massive. And those cars were hard to drive, Crompo. You drove them of the day. They were big, heavy cars, small tyres, no aero, very difficult compared to today's cars.
Which leads us to some of the mega moments, and we've been teasing this promotion in the recent past. The top 10 moments, and we've been calling a competition for you to nominate this, and let's rattle through some of them here now, Scapey. 1977, it's been covered off a little bit tonight. Bondi talked about it, Alan talked about it. The famous 1-2 finish for Alan Moffat and Colin Bond in the hardtops.
And what about this one? Peter Brock. Oh, sorry, this was actually the birth of the race cam. This is Peter Williamson.
Yeah.
And the way that this actually evolved in Channel 7 coverage was unbelievable. He was extraordinary at being able to talk a lap. This is the one I was saying. Peter Brock, 1979, won by 6 laps, Richo. What about that last lap? Set a new lap record. Dick Johnson. This was the thing that made, or whatever of the day, it was a massive accident and made Dick Johnson what he is today.
And public contribution. Here's KB's moment under the tree up the top where he rolls the Channel 9 Camaro. Of course, next year Dick went on to win the race with the money that was used to generate sort of getting that team back on his feet. But KB was a great competitor. And how about this one? This is just a violent incident, frightening incident where Dick fired off Forest Elbow into the trees. That was back in 1983. Totaled that car. How he got away with it. You blokes may be familiar with this one.
Here you go. You call this one, Richo.
Well, there I am. Don't I look good?
look at this. On you, Richo.
Hey, Richo. Hey, Richo. It's Greg Murphy, the lap of the gods, an unbelievable lap time of the day. And in 2003, it was the benchmark lap time. Craig Lowndes fought off the tears to win the inaugural Peter Brock Trophy in 2006. Look at the emotion there. The young Craig Lowndes.
And then last year, there was just a couple of tenths in it. 2011, Tander gets up and knocks off Craig Lowndes and old mate sitting next to me here. And we've got, well, a very special top 10 moments show lined up tomorrow where we've got a bunch of very special guests, as you can see on screen there, 5:30 Eastern time. You're going to be part of that. Maddie's hosting that show. We've got some special guests. And don't forget, of course, if you go to the V8 Supercar website, v8supercar.com.au, you'll find your way to one of the News Limited sites where you can cast your vote. Voting closes tomorrow night, and then we will announce the grand moment on Sunday morning in our coverage, and we're very much looking forward to it. Richo, thank you very much for taking time out this evening to come and have a yak to us. It's a great pleasure to see you, and continued great success with the Shannon's car.
Thanks, boys.
All right, thanks. Give him a round of applause, Jimmy Richards. Okay, plenty going on in and around the place. Let's get back to Neil Kearney once again.
Well, Neil, we've got two blokes who'd like to give Jimmy Richards a round of applause, but they were in that pack when he called them, whatever he called them, Brett and Mike from Inverell. How do you remember the night?
Well, it was wet. It was yeah, there was a lot of carnage, and yeah, we were sopping wet, covered in hail, and yeah, all I can remember is Jimmy's little speech probably stands out more than anything to me.
Now, Jimmy's a legend, one of the great Bathurst warriors. All's forgiven.
All is forgiven. Yeah, he's if he could put that AMC on the front row and win that race, he would be forgiven for everything, I think.
Now, you blokes have seen all the top 10 moments. You've been coming for 25 years.
Yep.
And you're both panel beaters.
Yep, both panel beaters. So yeah.
Do you find after Bathurst there's a bit of a spike?
Yeah, just pretty much so.
Young fellas mainly.
Yeah.
Now, like, what's been your favourite moment? We talked about all the top 10 there.
Yeah, I think when Lowndesy won the inaugural Brock Trophy, that was pretty special. Yeah, I like that one.
That warmed your heart?
I think so, yeah.
So who you guys be barracking for this weekend?
I'll have to be Lowndesy again, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And you?
Oh, probably Van Gisbergen. I'm hoping he might get up and have a win for the Ford boys.
Yeah.
Before they go to Mercedes. So yeah, that's who I'm barracking for.
So two friends in enemy camps, going to enjoy it, and we'll see more of those top 10 moments. Good on you guys, and give Jim a wave.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, Neil. You mentioned Peter Brock there a moment ago. We're going to take a break on the program, and when we come back, we've got a very special tribute to the King of the Mountain, Peter Brock. Stay with us.
This weekend, we celebrate 50 years at Mount Panorama. We'll pay homage to the legends who created the history of Bathurst. We'll reflect on their heartache and relive their moments of greatness.
That's incredible feeling.
Also joining us for the celebrations are the rising stars in the Dunlop Series, the Porsches, the Utes and the Touring Car Masters. Then, on Sunday, our modern-day heroes will write the next chapter in the history of this great race. And away we go! To mark the occasion, 7 will broadcast 22 hours from the mountain, and you've got the best seat in the house with more than 160 cameras, trackside, pit lane, on board and in the air. One of the greatest sights in Australian motorsport. There's only one place to see the super cheap auto Bathurst 1000 live and free, and that's right here on 7.
Peter Brock in 05 comes across the line.
It really is a shame, a crying shame that Brocky isn't here, because I mean he's probably the most important part of the legend of Bathurst.
And the crowd really giving Peter Brock a send-off.
Look, I'm sure the fans are going to miss Brocky for a number of years, you know, because not only have a lot of them grown up with the likes of him and Moff and myself and a number of other drivers, but you're continuing on a dynasty, really, of drivers that the younger generation are going to really appreciate.
I think the mayor of the city, I'd even call this Mount Brock.
The fans put Bathurst and Peter Brock together. You know, it's just the two names that come together so well, and you know, they complement each other. So, you know, he won't be forgotten, and this place will keep reminding us of those things, those special moments.
There's Brock at work.
A picture of total concentration.
Not to have him here is for us, it's a damn shame, you know, because he was such a special person, such a big part of what we are, what I am, what Bathurst is all about, and I think the fans will know that he's there in spirit.
The fans will be praying for him.
Great tribute to the late great King of the Mountain, Peter Brock, and you can see Lee Kernaghan and his band just getting ready there. He'll be performing for us very, very shortly. Scafie for Brock, an amazing string of victories, 9 of them, beginning in 1972, winding up in 1987. There are so many Brock moments, hard to really isolate them, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, Peter Jeffrey Brock had this incredible affinity with this circuit. He loved it. He used to say, great racetracks have got consequences. He was the very, very best here, and that 79 win to set a new lap record on the last lap, win the race by 6 laps is just extraordinary. And, you know, they're big memories for me, and I know that you obviously shared a lot of time with him here. What do you reckon his best drive was?
It's difficult to know. I always thought 72 was special in the XU1. He had a great battle with Alan Moffat that year in the GTHO Falcon. And the little XU1, in fact, I've seen a lot of XU1s here this weekend. Clearly some of the clubs are here in town. There's some great cars all around the precinct at the moment. The other one that was special, which I've made mention of before, I thought was 87. The bookend, really, when you think about it, because all that stuff in the wet, sliding all over the place, it was great. It really gets the hair standing up. It was fantastic, wasn't it? All right, well, as I've said a few times, there's lots going on around the precinct, upstairs, all around the top of the mountain. We're being seen on the big screens. We're being seen, of course, all around the network on 7 Mate. But right now, let's get to Neil Kearney.
Yeah, well, I'm with Craig Lowndes, and behind us, this livery, Craig, means a lot to you.
Well, it does. I think that if you look at the history of what this stands for, obviously Peter Brock and of course the connection he had here at Mount Panorama, 9 victories. He helped me enormously when I first got involved back in '94. And again, growing up as a child, watching this livery run around and his A9X, and then into obviously the Commodore phase was quite emotional. And of course now to be able to actually now run this livery for the first time is, look, it's a credit from Team Vodafone to be able to firstly do this. But the fans, like, I'm amazed over the last couple of 3 or 4 days how they've accepted the change for us, and really, look, you know, hopefully we can do it proud.
Now, you brought it in to bring it in by truck or by boat or some humble or modest way. Oh, do you think you could be a bit more theatrical about it?
Well, the only thing that probably could top it is that they asked me if I could sit in the car. So I wasn't going to dare do that. But look, you
wouldn't put the parachute on?
No. Actually, I put the parachute in the car though, and then to have Bev Brock in the car, and obviously then to drive it down off Skyline. Police escort. They actually did tell me that it was only going to be a 60-kilometre speed limit. Obviously, didn't trust me. So to have all that was quite special.
Yeah, and something that I think will stay with you for a long time.
Oh, look, no doubt. You know, Bev's here all weekend. She's popped in a couple of times, and you know, really, it's been fantastic. And as I said, the guys, our team uniform, obviously our race suits have changed. So Warren and I are really excited, and of course, obviously, you know, as I said, hopefully do it proud. Come Sunday, that you know, we actually get on that top step.
What would stick with you a bit more would be if you win number 6, wouldn't it?
Well, the interesting stats of this, obviously, this car was, well, this livery of this car was Brocky's 6th Bathurst victory. So, and if we win it this weekend, it becomes my 6th Bathurst victory win. So, look, there's a lot of facts and figures that go around behind it. It's 40 years since Brock's first Bathurst victory. It's 25 since his last. There's a lot of things going on around. But look, you know, I'm not superstitious or anything else. Warren and I are just going to go out there.
Don't talk yourself out of it now.
No. But Warren and I are just really going out there and obviously doing our best we can.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you very much, and good luck over the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice words, Lowndesy, and we do love Brocky, but really, we're Ford blokes down here, so tell me, guys, we'll have a look at the livery in a sec. How inspired are you guys to be able to run this historic livery from the 77 winners this weekend?
We're inspired, aren't we, Frosty? No.
I've just dragged them out of the Winnebago. They're inspired.
We are inspired. And just to see the mad fans this weekend, and see the reaction you get from them. They all get pretty excited. So we're just a couple of young blokes and privileged to drive for this team, and to see the heritage that we're respecting this weekend is pretty darn cool.
And what do you reckon, Frosty? Add another 5% to your pace?
Well, I don't know. I need another probably 10%, but it's pretty cool. You know, we weren't around when this history was getting made, which I know you were, but I'm not going to go into that. But but you know, we've all seen the footage, the helicopter shot, the 1-2. Bondi was in our garage watching the session today. Alan's always at an appearance through FPV, so they always talk about it, and to be part of this history, it's pretty cool.
Quick yes or no? Can you do a 1-2?
Yeah, we can.
All right, now another guy, thanks guys, we want to catch up with. We'll just slip around the garage next door. Now this guy's paid homage to the 1967 Bathurst winning car, Davey Reynolds, in bottle number 52. Yeah, that's me, mate. Davey, come on, let's have a look at this livery. This is, I think they called it reef green, didn't they? Ivory green. The car looks absolutely stunning. Now, if you have a look at it, it's a genuine replica of the car, including the chrome trim, mate.
Yeah, it's got chrome trim. You know, it's all hand-painted signs, so
yeah, this is hand-painted.
All hand-painted, my friend. So yeah, it's original. It's very original. It's even got GT badges on it.
Yeah, quick look at it around here. Look at this. This is cool. Have a look at this, Dave. On the back there, genuine GT badge. Holden fans, get that up, yeah.
Nice work. The Minister for the Diplomatic there, Mark Larkin, in the pit lane. Good work, Larker and Davey. This is Friday Night Live from Bathurst. We've got very close now to the checkered flag in this show, but Scafey, before we go off to this break, that car, that man, Fred Gibson, instrumental in your career.
Well, an unbelievable driver. 1967 was obviously a big year. He drove that Falcon that year. That's the replica car he drove with Harry Firth. And for Freddie not to be here this weekend is actually quite sad. He's been a very, very big part of Australian motorsport.
Yeah, indeed, well said. And by the way, Frosty and Will, P3 and P4 in qualifying today. When we come back after the break, Lee Kernighan's going to perform for us as we wrap up Friday Night Live from Bathurst right here on 7 Mates. Stay with us. There's Lee Kernighan. He's getting ready. He'll be performing for us in just a tick. This is Friday Night Live from Bathurst on 7 Mate, and all around Mount Panorama on the big screens. We're celebrating 50 years of the great race at Mount Panorama. Mark Scaife and Neil Crompton with you. Hope you're enjoying the program. We've got a lot to celebrate. There's legends all around the place, some wonderful motor cars, some great stories to tell. We saw fantastic practice yesterday, brilliant qualifying today, and we're setting up for the shootout tomorrow and the great race, 161 laps on Sunday. Massive amount of coverage. Now, ferreting around in the garage, driving people crazy, as always. Larko's lurking out there somewhere. You there, Mark?
Yeah, I am, mate. And look, just in the theme of things to show you how far a race car has come at the Bathurst 1000. I mean, we hear some great stories about the silly driver swaps of years gone past and guys sliding around on vinyl seats. Look at the modern cockpit. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot going on in a driver change. I mean, we've got things like fresh air that comes from the ice-cooled machine down there that also happens to plug into your cool suit vest. We've got seat belts, and the latest trick now is they all use these elastics we see, so when you unclip them, bang, they all come out of the way so the other driver can come in. What I really like, this is the steering wheel. Now, think of the co-drivers. I mean, the guy that's driving this all year, that's fine, but just have a look at the array of controls he's got to deal with on here. I mean, you've got, this is obviously your little screen that'll have all sorts of computer images that you can scroll through, whether there's a start page or a race page, a qualifying page. You've got your lights here to know when to gear shift precisely. Each one of those might be 100 RPM difference. They also tell you if your front wheels are locked, because sometimes it's very difficult to hear that from the driver's seat. You can adjust your fuel mapping on here. You've got lights, you've got drink, you've got pit buttons. And what's really cool about that, that's actually made in-house by Stone Brothers. But the thing I really like, a lot of the teams, they have the little dicky seat. So this is the difference between the tall driver and the shorter driver, and they put that in there. Now, what's really cool on this one, there's an orifice in this seat here that blows cool air. If I can, there you can see it on the dicky seat. See that orifice there? Now, I remember that's called a back cooler. Neil Crompton, who was always really easily spooked in his driving day, used to have one of these. The hole was down about 12 inches lower. It's actually called a crack cooler.
Larko.
Why is it called a dicky seat, Larko?
Mark Larkham reporting for the last time on the 7 broadcast this week. It's such a shame to lose him so early in the weekend. Thanks, Larko. You can go home. It's too late for you now. Go and have a lay down somewhere. You need a Bex. You need to sort it out. We're going to take a break now. I've teased the fact that Lee's coming up. We'll sneak a quick break in. When we come back, Lee Kernaghan to play for us. The checkered flag's just about out. Stay with us.
This weekend, we celebrate 50 years at Mount Panorama. We'll pay homage to the legends who created the history of Bathurst. We'll reflect on their heartache and relive their moments of greatness.
That's incredible feeling.
Also joining us for the celebrations are the rising stars in the Dunlop Series, the Porsches, the Utes and the Touring Car Masters. Then, on Sunday, our modern-day heroes will write the next chapter in the history of this great race. And away we go! To mark the occasion, 7 will broadcast 22 hours from the mountain, and you've got the best seat in the house with more than 160 cameras, trackside, pit lane, on board and in the air. One of the greatest sights in Australian motorsport. There's only one place to see the super cheap auto Bathurst 1000 live and free, and that's right here on 7.
Lee Kernaghan, he's our special guest this evening on Friday Night Live from Bathurst. Looking forward to hearing him perform. Now, don't forget, tomorrow in our coverage, we've got the shootout, Scafie, and let's bring it back to the motor racing for one moment. I've dared not to mention the R word. There could be some rain tomorrow.
Well, if that happens, I mean, it's a pretty wild circuit at its best, but when it rains here, it's extraordinary because of the mountain and the water flow off the mountain. And in a shootout like that, it's never consistent. You never get a consistent amount of rain for that time, so that could just play havoc.
And what are your thoughts so far? We've seen practice yesterday, practice and qualifying today.
Well, you and I have said, you know, I reckon there's 12 combinations that are a chance to win it. The biggest thing for me is actually sorting out of those top 5 who is the actual priority. And I think Whincup at the moment looks like he's got the best speed, but Lounge, and you can never discount him. What do you think?
Oh, always a factor around here. And let's not forget Garth Tander, who races so well here as well. But just goes to show, when we saw the drama with him up at turn 2 earlier in the day, we know that things can turn pear-shaped very quickly here. So, I mean, it's a very, very difficult place. People have been asking me for the last week or so, who's going to win, who's going to win. The fact of the matter is you just don't know. But I've never seen so many fast combinations. When I look at these figures here at the moment, it's just extraordinary. Anyway, here's our coverage. We've got tons of it. I don't think... Are we going to bed? We're actually going to go to bed. We're just going to sit here and chat all night. We're on, of course, tomorrow, and we've got live coverage on Sunday. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, runs right through until 6 o'clock. It's just fantastic. We've been promoting one of Australia's great artists. He sold more than 2 million albums. His new album is out on the 19th of October. Tonight, with a V8 twist to perform the title track off his brand new album. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Lee Kernaghan.
It's a roar of the engines, it's a counting down. It's the smell of the rubber, it's a V8 sound. It's a power, it's a passion. It's hitting the corner, holding on to a slide. Giving it hell, getting hung out to dry. Well, it's hardcore, it's what we're here for. It's a beautiful noise. It's a beautiful noise. The rumble of thunder rolling down under this man and machine is chasing the dream. It's a V8 thrill, the crowd on the hill. It's a beautiful noise. forces on 600 horses is the V8 story, the guts and the glory. It's a beautiful night. It's a beautiful night. The rumble of thunder rolling down under. This man in the shade is chasing the dream. It's the V8 thrill, the crowd on the hill. It's a beautiful night. It's a beautiful night. It's a beautiful night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Kernaghan, what a fantastic way to close out tonight's show. We hope you've enjoyed it. Stay with us across the weekend. The Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 right here on 7. On behalf of the team, thanks for being with us tonight. Bye for now.